Good afternoon, Laurel Park, 4th and 5th graders. Mrs. Disidore here, reading our read aloud, which is Skellig. Okay, we're on chapter 8 today. So far, Michael has moved into this new home. Remember that it's pretty run down, especially the garage and the backyard. It's full of junk, and Michael's not allowed to go in there because his parents are afraid it's going to fall down, but he does anyway, and he discovers something living in there. Not really sure. We think it's a man of some sort, but he's eating bugs. Kind of strange. He also met a new girl from the neighborhood, from his new neighborhood, and her name is Mina. Okay, we just met her quickly. So that's where we left off, with him meeting Mina. So let's get to chapter 8. When he came down from his bath, Dad started moaning that there was no bread and there were no eggs. And in the end, he said, "I know. Let's have takeout." It was like a light went on in my head. He had the menu from the Chinese round the corner in his hand. "We'll get it in for when your mom gets back," he said. "What do you want?" 27 and 53, I said. "That's clever. You did that without looking. What's your new trick?" He wrote it all down. "Special chow mein for Mum, spring rolls and pork chop suey for you, beef and mushroom for me, crispy seaweed and prawn crackers for the baby. And if she won't eat them, we will, and serve her right. She'll be back on boring mother's milk again." So remember that the man or the creature, whatever you want to call it, the being living in that garage asked for 27 and 53. I think Michael realized that 27 and 53 is from the Chinese menu. Not sure if you've ever had Chinese before, but often on the menu there's numbers next to the orders. So instead of saying, "I want General Tso's chicken," you could say, "I want number 17," or whatever number's next to it. So they're ordering Chinese for dinner, and he got what the man or the creature wants in the garage. Dad phoned the Chinese, gave me the cash, and I ran round to collect it all. By the time I got back again, Mum and the baby were there. She tried to make a fuss of me and kept asking me about the journey and about school. Then the baby puked over her shoulder, and she had to get cleaned up. Dad belted through his beef and mushroom and the seaweed and prawn crackers. He said he was all clogged up with Ernie's dust, and he swigged off a bottle of root beer. When he saw I was leaving half of mine, he reached over with my fork. I covered it with my arm. "You'll get fat," I said. Mum laughed. "Fatter," she said. "I'm famished," he said. "Worked like a slave for you all today." He reached out and tickled the baby's chin and kissed her. "Especially for you, little chick." I kept my arm in front of my food. "Fatso," I said. He lifted his shirt and grabbed his belly with his fingers. "See?" said Mom. He looked at us. He dipped his finger into the sauce at the edge of my plate. "Delicious," he said. "But enough's enough. I've had an ample sufficiency. Thank you." Then he went to the fridge and got another root beer and a great big lump of cheese. I tipped what was left of 27 and 53 into the takeout tray and put it in the outside bin. So I believe that he's going to give that to the guy in the garage. So let's see. Let's go on to chapter 9. I saw Mina again later that evening. I was in the little front garden with Dad. We stood there in the dandelions. He was telling me as usual how wonderful it would be. Flowers here and a tree there and a bench under the front window. I saw her further along the street. She was in a tree in another front garden on the same side of the street as us. She was sitting on a fat branch. She had a book and a pencil in her hand. She kept sticking the pencil in her mouth and staring up into the tree. "Wonder who that is?" Dad asked. "She's called Mina." "Ah." She must have seen us looking at her, but she didn't move. Dad went in to check the cement in the dining room. I went out the gate and along the street and looked up at Mina in the tree. "What you doing up there?" I said. She clicked her tongue. "Silly you," she said. "You've scared it away." "Typical." "Scared what away?" "The blackbird." She put the book and the pencil in her mouth. She swung over the branch and dropped into the garden. She stood looking at me. She was little, and she had hair as black as coal, and the kind eyes you think can see right through you. The kind of eyes you think you could see right through you. Never mind, she said. It'll come again. She pointed up to the rooftop. The blackbird was up there, tipping its tail back and forth and squawking. That's its warning call, she said. It's telling its family there's danger near. Danger. That's you. She pointed up in the tree. If you climb up here where I was and look along the branch, you'll see its nest. There's 3 tiny ones, but don't you dare go any nearer. She sat on the garden wall and faced me. This is where I live, she said. Number 7. You've got a baby sister. Yes. What's her name? We haven't decided yet. She clicked her tongue and rolled her eyes toward the sky. She opened her book. Look at this. It was full of birds, pencil drawings, lots of them colored in blues and greens and reds. This is the blackbird, she said. They're common, but nevertheless very beautiful. A sparrow. And look, this is the goldfinch that visited last Thursday. She showed me the goldfinch, the greens and reds and bright yellows in it. My favorite, she said. She slapped the book shut. Do you like birds? She said, and she looked at me like something I'd done had made her cross. I don't know, I said. Typical. Do you like drawing? Sometimes. Drawing makes you look at the world more closely. It helps you to see what you're looking at more clearly. Did you know that? I said nothing. What color's a blackbird? She said. Black. Typical. She swung round into the garden. I'm going in, she said. I look forward to seeing you again. I'd also like to see your baby sister, if that can be arranged. All right, and that's the end of the chapter. So he had his first conversation with Mina, okay, the girl in their neighborhood, and he does have that Chinese food. So I'm thinking that he's going to sneak in. He usually sneaks in at night when his parents are sleeping or when they're busy. He's going to sneak in, and I think that he's going to probably give that to the man, the creature, whatever is in that garage. Okay, so I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I will see you back here Monday to continue to read Skellig. All right, I miss you all. I'll talk to you soon.